Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program Capital Beat. Protests over Gautam Adani continue in Parliament. Yesterday we saw protests by the Congress leaders who were wearing jackets with the caption Modi or Adani ek hain. And today we found Congress leaders protesting outside the Parliament wearing masks which had the caption Modi Adani Bhai Bhai. Now what happened between yesterday and today is also very interesting. Now, yesterday you had Sambit Patra, who held a press conference and said that Rahul Gandhi is one of the biggest traitors. Then you heard BJP Lok Sabha MP Nishikant Dubey going all out against Rahul Gandhi and connecting him with George Soros and the anti-India agenda. And then by evening, there is a privilege notice which has been, I think, served. And then in the morning today, Rajya Sabha chairperson Jagdeep Dhankhar uh, announces that there were wads of currency notes which were found under seat number 222, which is the seat which has been allocated to the senior Congress leader Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Now that becomes a big controversy. BJP creates a hue and cry inside the Rajya Sabha saying that this is something which is against the integrity of Rajya Sabha. The House is adjourned. But is this a ploy? We are told that some 50,000 rupees have been recovered. Jagdeep Dhankar doesn't even know whether those notes are fake or real. But is this a diversionary tactics to derail the functioning of parliament? Or is this to dilute the protests over Gautam Adani? We'll discuss all this and much more with us on the show. Sharad Gupta, senior journalist and political commentator. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. We have Puneet Nicholas Yadav, senior editor with the Federal. Thank you so much. And I'll begin with Puneet because he was following the parliament very, very closely. Puneet, what has really happened? All of a sudden, you have Jagdeep Dhankar who says that there were wads of currency notes found under Abhishek Manu Singhvi's seat. Now, is this a ploy? Is this a diversionary tactics? What has really happened by which Dhankar came and made this announcement?
Yeah, Nilu, some corrections there. So not wads of currency, but one wad of notes that's been found as
In the
per
morning,
what.
in the morning, all the newspapers had started reporting saying that wads of currency note, as if
Yeah, so according to what the Rajya Sabha chairman said at the very start of the session today, was that there was a routine anti-sabotage check that was being conducted in the Rajya Sabha. Now, these are checks that are conducted once the House proceedings conclude for the day. So one assumes that this check happened after 6 o'clock in the evening or thereabouts. And he said that during that anti-sabotage check, there was a wad of currency that was found at seat 222, which is, as you said, the seat allocated to Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Now, to my mind, it's not just the way in which this uh, announcement was made by the Rajya Sabha chairman, but also the other elements that the Rajya Sabha chairman added while making this announcement, which to my mind seem even more dangerous than or more, if I may use the word sinister, uh, than the recovery of the cash itself. Because then the chairman goes on to say that he is not aware whether that currency is fake or genuine. He adds that it is, of course, a matter of serious investigation, and an investigation has been ordered. So the investigation, mind you, has been ordered. It has not concluded. But he says the investigation has been ordered. I do not know, whether the notes are genuine or they are fake. They look like 500 rupees denomination, and it looks like physically there are 100 notes in that ward. That is what he said. And the moment he said that, there was disruption from the treasury side, and then charges and counter charges that happened. The Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha's leader of opposition, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, of course, said that when the investigation has not concluded, when nothing can be said with certainty about that currency that has been recovered, why is the name of the member being divulged? To
Right.
which again there was an uproar from the Treasury side, with members from the BJP side, including Leader of the House, Mr. JP Nadda, Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Mr. Kiran Rijiju, uh, another Union Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, all of them saying that one, why is the Congress objecting to an investigation? Two, why uh, should the name not be given out? And three, the third aspect, of course, was huge because every member from the Treasury side attributed different kinds of reasons to that money being found there, including, as Mr. Piyush Goyal said, whether this was money that, he said, today they have found currency, tomorrow we don't know what will be found on that side of the aisle. And this is being recovered at a time when there is evidence that the opposition side is in cahoots with foreign entities to destabilize Indian democracy, India's parliament, India's government. Now, on a lighter note, one may actually have to wonder whether the retail price of parliament or India's democracy or the MPs of the treasury benches is only 50,000 rupees. You know, whether the Indian government can be destabilized for a price of 50,000 or an MP from the treasury side can be bought over for 50,000, I don't know if that is what the treasury side wanted to say. But the basic point here is you don't have the final conclusion of the investigation report. Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi is on record saying that money doesn't belong to me. And I was in the house only for 3 minutes from 12:57 to 1 p.m. Now, anybody who has covered Parliament, who's been to Parliament, knows that when Parliament is in session, it's not always members sitting at their seat. They do interact, they do change their seats, go and sit, with other MPs to have a, discussion, and then return to their seats when they have to raise a question or, when they are asked to speak. So, and Parliament is videographed. So, there will naturally be video footage of who, maybe not throughout the session of yesterday, but there will be enough footage to say who at what point of time in the day was perhaps seated at Mr. Singhvi's seat. Was there somebody who was seated there, or was it only Mr. Singhvi who sat there? Second, the other thing that the chairman has not even bothered to explain is where exactly that money was found. He said that it was found at seat 222. Whether it was found under the seat, whether it was found on the bench, whether it was found on exactly in front of the seat, or where the mics are placed in front of the member, or whether it was found like in the adjoining the small gap between where one MP sits and the other MP sits, because these are not chairs that are allotted, it's a bench. But he's taken the name of the member, which of course ends up casting aspersions on the integrity of the member. So the objections from the opposition side are obvious and expected. But as you also pointed out, there is also a chronology to this. Not only was yesterday Mr. Patra's press conference directed at the leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha, in the Lok Sabha, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who he called traitor of the highest order. Before that, you had a remarkable coincidence where the 0 hour of Rajya Sabha, the first speaker called to speak in the 0 hour was Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi of the BJP, and who raised the issue of foreign entities trying to destabilize the country. Subsequently, when 0 hour started in the Lok Sabha, the first member to be called by the chair to make a 0 hour intervention was Mr. Nishikant Dubey of the BJP. Now, both 0 hour mentions, both speakers of the BJP and both raise exactly the same issue, that there are attempts being made to destabilize the country. And of course, an uproar follows. And so on Monday, when both sides, the government and the opposition, had agreed that there will be no disruptions, we will allow the House to function. We will have a debate on the Constitution on the 13th and 14th in the Lok Sabha, on the 16th and 17th in the Rajya Sabha. Within 3 days, that truce seems to have fallen apart. And by provocations from the centre's side, uh, and unfortunate to say this, but with the complicity of the presiding officers of both houses. So whether it's too much of a coincidence, it's for people to judge. But I mean, it certainly does not look like normal course of procedure in either house.
Absolutely. Shalaji, how would you really read this situation that all of a sudden, this currency notes controversy erupts in Rajya Sabha, BJP protesting about it? But don't you think that there are question marks on the BJP itself? If the BJP MPs are protesting, then are they not raising indirectly some question marks on their own government as to how those currency notes came inside parliament? So is it not like an indirect indictment of their own government that, look, boss, here you have a bundle of note which is lying inside parliament and we have no clue how it's reached, and now they are blaming the opposition for it?
If you ask me, I'll start with a lighter note as Puneet did. In fact, I'm surprised by such a big hue and price being made at 50 rupees, just 50 rupees, 50,000 rupees.
2000, yeah.
Nowadays, 50,000 rupees is too small amount. And if you remember recently, uh, there were news about 50 crore rupees being stolen from the house of a bureaucrat. So probably somewhere in Uttarakhand. And there was no hue and cry. So these 50 crores get stolen and no hue and cry, and 50,000 rupees being found. That too, not sure whether it's real currency or fake currency, or whether it was planted by somebody, was it somebody else's money, just forgotten, or maybe dropped accidentally at a one place. So I feel that until unless it was full investigations had not been carried out, the government or presiding officer should not have gone to town announcing such frivolous things and making such frivolous accusations. This is below the dignity of such speaker or presiding officer of such august house. So they should not indulge in such petty politics. And let me also commend the honest cleaning and security staff of the parliament who dutifully submitted the currency. Anybody could have pocketed them. So, indeed,
Good.
chivalry and honesty is still a quality among the Indians. So,
Right.
and in the age of digital currency, I'm not sure if anybody carries 50 a wad of 50,000 crore,
No, in
50,000.
fact, no, in fact, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, when he was speaking to the reporters, he said that I had just one 500 rupee note in my pocket. And he said that while he was giving an interview, he was speaking to the press reporters. He said that I just carried one 500 note, and he doesn't even know from where the notes have landed. And he also said that there should be a probe. And he also mentioned another point that, this whole thing gives rise to a situation where the MPs need to have enclosures which can be locked so that the MPs can carry the keys back with them. Now, is this not a very strong question mark on the government itself, the functioning of the government?
Nelu, let's not let's just give Mr. Singhvi a benefit of doubt, but his track record is not very clean. So maybe that makes it easier for the opposition, rather the BJP, to make all kind of allegations against him. But all said and done, he is a man of his stature. He is a man of he's a very good lawyer, and his per day salary, I think, is it's in crores, if not in lakhs. So for him, 50,000 rupees is a very small change. Anyway, all said and done, I'm again maintaining that presiding officer, rather the Vice President of India, should not have gone to town announcing anybody's name till it was found that it was his money. So that is below the dignity of Vice President of India. It is lower the stature of Vice President of India's uh, stature. That's what I would like to say.
So, now, Puneet, but does this episode have any connection with the protests which are happening against Gautam Adani? Now, look at the manner in which Congress has been protesting and has been protesting for long. And yesterday there was an innovative protest where they came in jackets. Today they were wearing masks. Now, just to dilute the protest on Adani, do you think that this could be a ploy? Of course, it's a diversionary tactics, as you said, to derail the functioning of the parliament, but also to dilute the protests on Adani because government doesn't have anything to say much on it.
Well, that is certainly the charge of the India Alliance. This is what the opposition has been saying, that this is a diversionary tactic, not just on the Adani issue, but you see, this is happening at a time when farmers are marching to Delhi again. There's been a kind of police crackdown on them today, coinciding with what was happening in Parliament. Tear gas was fired on them. Lathi charge was ordered against those farmers at the Shambhu border. So there's the issue of the farmers. There's the continuing issue of Manipur. There's, of course, the Adani issue. And there are multiple other factors, other issues that the opposition had been trying to, seek answers on from the government, none of the adjournment motions so far have been accepted, which is, of course, consistent with the practice of the presiding officers of both houses for the last several sessions now. And so it's obvious for the India Alliance to not only defend itself against what are very visibly scurrilous allegations and frivolous allegations, but also to doubt the intention behind all of this and claim that that this is part of a diversionary tactic. Might I also add, as far as the Lok Sabha, as far as the Parliament is concerned, I do not recall any law so far which prohibits a member of Parliament from carrying cash, irrespective of the amount.
That's the point, yeah.
I don't think there is a ban in Parliament on how much currency you can carry at one point in time inside the House. Secondly, I think the chairman's comment that he doesn't know whether the money is fake or genuine needs to be taken more seriously than it is being taken, because what is he trying to allude to? Is he trying to say that he doubts Mr. Singhvi? He thinks Mr. Singhvi would be going around carrying counterfeit currency, or any other member of Parliament, for that matter, would be coming to Parliament carrying counterfeit currency, and not one or two notes, but an entire wad of it.
Absolutely. No, but has Dhankar also shot himself on the foot by saying this as BJP is protesting, and making a hue and cry about it? So does this episode really put BJP in a bad light more than the opposition?
No, I don't think it puts the BJP in a bad light or a good light or any light for that matter. There are obvious suspicions over this whole chronology, as you recounted, as I also recounted, from the happenings that started yesterday and then today. And I don't know whether I would want to say that the chairman of the House has shot himself in the mouth, because in the foot, because to me, going by his conduct, and again, it's rather unfortunate to be saying this of the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, that going by his conduct, not today, but in successive sessions of Parliament, there is every reason to suspect whether this is being done to help the treasury benches in creating further disruptions of the House. If you look at Mr. Dhankar's manner of speech, the way he addresses opposition MPs in the Rajya Sabha, at times even the most vocal speakers from the treasury side pale in comparison. He's, the way he defends. In fact, just today, uh, on the farmers issue, the agriculture minister, Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, got up to speak. Of course, there was disruption happening all along, but in the person who came to Mr. Chauhan's defense was the Rajya Sabha chairman himself, not the leader of the house, not any other member from the treasury benches. And this was while one expects the chairman of the house to protect all MPs uniformly while they are speaking their turn. But look at the language he used. He said, I know that the agriculture minister is hailed as the Ladla of the country. And I'm confident that he will also be hailed as the Ladla of farmers. And his name is Shivraj. And I'm sure he will live, to prove being worthy of his name. And then he takes a pot shot at the opposition, saying, you people never raise issues of farmers. You don't submit adjournment motions regarding farmers. So the entire conduct of the chair has, he has brought it upon himself. The criticism, the suspicions that are being cast on him. And the same applies to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha.
Yeah.
Who
Absolutely.
I would still say is marginally less brazen than the chairman of the Rajya Sabha.
Right. So, Shariji, what would you really say towards the end? I mean, how does one read this episode and entire chronology, what we've been pointing out throughout the show, that, there is a certain chronology to the things, the way they are happening. I mean, do you see a possibility of BJP almost building a ground for Rahul Gandhi, because there is a case on citizenship, on Rahul Gandhi's citizenship as well, and people are suspecting that this might become a big issue. So, do you think that there could be some ground to all this? I mean, why BJP is doing it? I mean, we don't know whether this is done deliberately or not, but there are suspicions. So, what would you really say towards this entire incident towards the end? Yeah.
Hello, first thing, I won't say that it's being done by the BJP, because BJP is nowhere in the picture. It's basically the Vice President of India. So let's but they did take it up, and as any political party will do whenever they get an opportunity to make political capital out of an incident, they do. So I won't blame them. But basically, it was triggered by the Vice President of India, the Chairman of Rajya Sabha. One. Secondly, I don't think it's such a big political issue. It's sensational though, but not a big political issue, because you can't attribute any motive कि भी 50,000 रुपए लाके क्या करोगे. And as Puneet correctly said, can you destabilize the country with rupees 50,000 bucks? Just 50,000 bucks. So secondly, thirdly, it could be exactly a diversionary tactics for the government, which is caught on the back foot because of the farmers issue, inflation, so many Adani, so many other things. So they just want to divert the attention of people and keep the both houses of parliament busy in discussing some trivial issues, getting adjourned on some trivial issues which don't have any significance, then discuss the issues of national and international importance. So that could be one of the reasons. So I don't attach much significance to the incident. I think it's going to die down by within 24 hours if nothing is found. And I don't think anything is going to be found out of this unless there is, of course, um, documentary evidence like CCTV footage. So if that is found, then of course there is a case. Otherwise, there is no case against anybody.
Okay. So it looks like a no case, but a hue and cry since morning. You just look at the TV channels since morning. What they've been just talking about is the currency notes controversy. That is what the big headlines on the legacy media and the conventional media we see. We'd like to end it here. Thank you so much, Sharad Gupta, for joining. Puneet, thank you very much for joining. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion, subscribe to our channel, send us a feedback, and stay tuned to The Federal.